In the 1930s, America believed it had discovered the perfect business animal. It reproduced quickly, ate cheap vegetation, thrived in wetlands, and produced soft fur that resembled expensive luxury pelts. Investors loved it. Governments encouraged it. Some people believed nutria farming could become a massive new American industry, a kind of fur gold rush for the wetlands. Instead, the business collapsed and helped create one of the worst invasive species disasters in the country. Because hidden inside this miracle fur animal was a system nobody fully understood. Hey everyone, welcome back to Tiny Mechanisms Around the World, where strange little systems quietly reshape the world around us. Today, we're uncovering how America's nutria fur boom turned into a long-term ecological nightmare. Nutria, also called koi poo, are large, semi-aquatic rodents native to South America. In the early 20th century, their dense underfur attracted attention from the global fashion industry. At the time, luxury furs like mink, beaver, and sable were expensive and difficult to produce. Nutria seemed revolutionary by comparison. They reproduced rapidly, adapted easily to wetland farms, and could be raised much more cheaply. Some business promoters claimed nutria farming could transform poor swamp regions into profitable economic zones. Louisiana became one of the biggest centers of nutria farming in America. During the 1930s through the 1950s, hundreds of nutria farms appeared across parts of Louisiana, Texas, and Oregon. At the peak of the boom, millions of nutria were being raised for fur. Nutria pelts were marketed as affordable luxury, practical winter fashion, and a cheaper alternative to more expensive furs. Some early farmers made surprisingly good money. That success created a classic economic feedback loop. More investors entered the market, more farms opened, and production expanded rapidly. But the entire system depended on one huge assumption, that fur demand would continue growing forever. And that assumption turned out to be disastrously wrong. By the 1950s and 1960s, several major shifts hit the industry. Synthetic fabrics became cheaper, fashion trends changed, global fur prices became unstable, and consumers slowly moved away from heavy fur clothing. The economic projections behind nutria farming began collapsing. There was also another problem hiding underneath the business model. The exact traits that made nutria profitable also made them dangerous. They reproduced quickly, survived easily in wetlands, adapted to multiple climates, and escaped captivity very effectively. In other words, the system rewarded farmers for raising an animal perfectly designed to become invasive. As the fur market weakened, many nutria farms stopped making money. Some farmers could no longer afford feed, maintenance, or containment systems. Others simply abandoned the business entirely. And because eliminating thousands of animals was expensive, many nutria were intentionally released or escaped during storms and floods. At the time, few people fully understood what would happen next. Nutria adapted extremely well to America's Gulf Coast wetlands. With few predators and enormous amounts of marsh vegetation, their populations exploded. Today, millions of nutria live across parts of Louisiana, Texas, Florida, and other wetland regions. A single nutria can consume up to 25% of its body weight in vegetation every day. That feeding destroys marsh plants that help stabilize wetlands, accelerating erosion, habitat loss, and flood vulnerability. Today, nutria contribute to billions of dollars in environmental and infrastructure damage over time. What makes this story fascinating is that the failure was not just ecological, it was economic. The entire system depended on endless demand, stable prices, and perfect containment. But once the market collapsed, the environmental risks remained behind. The profits were temporary. The consequences were not. A rodent once promoted as a profitable wetland industry eventually became one of the most destructive invasive species in parts of the United States. The same characteristics that made nutria attractive to investors made them dangerous to ecosystems. Sometimes a business model can look brilliant on paper, while quietly containing the seeds of its own disaster. So next time you hear about invasive nutria damaging wetlands in Louisiana or Texas, remember, they're partly the legacy of a forgotten economic boom from nearly a century ago. Have you ever heard of the nutria fur trade before? Did you know America once believed these animals could become a major industry? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this episode of Tiny Mechanisms Around the World, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Take care.